Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 276. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we've got Kevin Rakestraw. How are you, Kevin?
Doing pretty good.
Happy New Year.
Indeed.
This week on the show, we'll be going over our year-end lists. Gotta love those lists. Making up those lists.
List season.
Lists for days. We've been working on these forever. I'm still working on them. I'm not done yet.
Me either.
It's crazy. So we'll be going over all the various lists. We'll be doing our top 10s, and then we'll be sprinkling in some other highlights and maybe some not so highlights of the year as usual. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope everyone's having a happy new year. Before we get into the lists, I wanted to go over a couple housekeeping things. One, our newsletter. If we're going to be doing a monthly newsletter that's going to have all of the kind of latest happenings with the site, including information about all of the releases that we're going to be doing on Film Pulse Selects. So be sure to head over to the website and sign up for the newsletter. We're not going to be bombarding people with like tons of emails or anything. I swear it's going to be once a month. Or if there's like some kind of big thing that happens, maybe one additional time once in a while.
Maybe.
But I'm really going to keep it to once a month at most. So you can feel safe about that. We're not going to be sending like ads or anything like that. Nothing like that. It's going to be an actual newsletter. It's not going to be an ad. So feel free to sign up on the site for that. Right now, if you are a filmmaker and you want to submit your film to Film Pulse Selects, right now we're doing a promotion where it is free entry. So if you have a short film or a feature, head over to filmfreeway.com/filmpulse, use the promo code FP2018, and you can get free entry in to submit your film for the 2018 season.
There you go.
All right, I think that does it for housekeeping things. Oh, one other thing. We are now on Spotify and iHeartRadio. So if you if those are your platforms of choice, feel free to subscribe to us on those platforms as well. Let's jump into these lists here. We're going to start it with the top 10s, because that's the biggie.
Okay.
So I was thinking we could just do what we normally do. You know, we'll start with you. We'll go up the list. We'll do every other one. 10, 10, 9, 9, etc.
All right.
Maybe if you feel the need to explain yourself, then you can. If not, we can just immediately move on.
Just bang them out as quick as possible.
we're just gonna rapid fire the movies and then just completely move on, and the whole show is gonna be 10 minutes long.
There you go.
There's gonna be no context. It's just gonna be a list of movies, and that's it.
Yep. And just shorthand too. You don't have to say every word in the title.
It's like the 3 billboards. You just say like three. Maybe we should start with no, we'll do the top 10s, and then we'll do some honorable mentions after that.
Okay.
So what was your number 10 movie of 2017?
Number 10 for me was Eduardo Williams' The Human Surge.
Okay. That's on my list. Little spoiler. Little bit later on my list. Yeah. I was so impressed with this movie.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, this was quite a surprise. I kind of knew going in that, you know, it looked rather interesting. I heard a lot of good things, but I don't think I was necessarily expecting to love it as much as I did. And for it to kind of like surprise me in the ways that it did. I think, you know, the main event is the 2 transitions that happen, which I think that's I was on board. I was enjoying myself, but when that first transition hit, I think that's when it blew me away, and I kind of sat up in my seat and got a little bit closer to that computer screen, probably unhealthily close.
A little too close. I always like movies that try new things on a technical level, like things that do just try something different or something that's normally quite difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
Like like Victoria, was it called Victoria, the single take one?
Mm-hmm.
I like what they did with that. Any movies that try something new or different on a technical level, and this movie really handles that a lot, really well. I mean, he uses, I think, 3 different styles of camera throughout. He uses 16 millimeter, and then like some kind of crappy digital camera, and then I think I don't know if it's a red or a higher quality digital camera, but man, yeah, it really worked for me.
Jumping over the map like that, kind of like 3 just like slice of life type deals, which I'm already on board with.
Yeah,
And then they're throwing those transitions like that. Mm, that was
yeah, it was pretty amazing. I really
I
really like that movie a lot.
I must say I'm pretty excited to see more from Eduardo Williams.
Absolutely. My number 10 is The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Ooh, okay.
Little Yorgos.
Well, I can just throw in that that's my number 9.
Okay, great. So I've been a huge fan of pretty much all of his movies that I've seen. Have I seen all of his movies? I don't even know.
You probably missed like the Canetta,
Maybe,
like one
yeah.
of the really early ones.
Yeah, I think so. But at any rate, loved this one. I think I like this one more than The Lobster, just because I found it to be so funny. Like, to me, this is one of the funniest movies of the year.
It's so bizarre, and it's for me too. The comedy is as soon as it started, and they're talking about like the watches and the bands, and I'm just like, yes, this is so my thing.
Yeah, I mean the comedy definitely was in my style. It's definitely the type of comedy that I tend to gravitate towards. Just this kind of awkward, random stuff. And I mean, this movie is just it. Like in our Slack channel, we're just endlessly quoting this movie
Well,
because it's just so quotable.
and the performance from what's his name, Barry.
Brad Kogan.
Yeah, like he is fucking terrifying in this movie.
Yeah,
He's so ridiculously good. And honestly, me going into it, I had no idea what this was about.
I didn't either. I really knew nothing about it, and I think that they do a pretty good job of keeping that information from you in the trailers and such.
And then when he just does like his quick rapid fire of like, okay, I'm just gonna lay it out for you, like what the rules are, what's this kind of like exposition dump, real quick, and just the way that he delivers it, and you're just kind of like, oh shit, okay. And then from there on, it's just there's good amount of tension
Mm-hmm.
because you're not quite sure where this is gonna go, and then he just gets. It's such a bizarre performance.
Yeah, this is actually. I don't. This was another discussion that we were having. If this would be considered a horror movie, because I was making my top 10 horror movie list yesterday, and I wasn't sure. Like I was gonna add this because I noticed that this was on several top 10 horror movie lists this year,
Mhm.
and I didn't end up including it because I don't quite classify it as a horror movie, but I could see why people think that okay, this is sort of a horror movie because it goes to some pretty dark places.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he is one of the best villains.
Oh yeah, I mean he's so creepy. He's just so creepy
Yeah,
because you know that he's way smarter than he sort of leads on.
Yeah, and
And it's just,
you always know that he's up to something.
yeah, he's scheming. But just how he kind of weaseled his way into that family and like got the daughter to fall in love with him, and
Yeah, he was.
just
I mean, it's worth it just for his performance, really.
absolutely. Yeah, I expected to like this one, and I was not let down. In fact, I think I liked it even more than I sort of expected. So that's my number 10, Killing of a Sacred Deer, and that's not your number 9. My number 9 is Nocturama.
Oh, okay.
This is the French film. I think I mentioned it just a couple weeks ago, actually. This is a relatively kind of fresh watch for me. It's about a group of Parisian terrorists, and sort of the beginning parts of the movie is them carrying out this plot to set off bombs throughout Paris, and then the second part of it is them hiding out in a department store that's closed. And it's, man, I just, the way that this movie is structured and sort of how it all plays out, because the beginning part, you don't even know who these people are. You know that they're young, they're doing something that is probably awful, but you have no idea who they are, their relationship with one another. You don't know if they're all strangers or if they have some sort of connection with each other. It's not until you get to the aftermath that they actually develop these characters in any way. And I think that it was just such an interesting choice to do it that way. And while they have time, because they're stuck in this department store for like hours, and they sort of have time to ruminate on, you know, the current state of politics in Paris, and their sort of viewpoints on violence and the political climate and all of that stuff. And that's also when, you know, we see their relationships develop, and it sort of lulls you into this comfort, this uneasy comfort, because you know that something is going to happen. You just don't know when.
Yeah.
So in that regard, like, the tension is always kind of pretty high, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And the sort of crescendo at the end, which again you expect it to happen, but it's a lot more impactful than what you may expect. So definitely worth a look. This is actually on Netflix Instant, so you can watch it anytime you want. It's called Nocturama.
Yeah, that's one that I didn't get a chance to squeeze in.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. I don't know if it would crack your top 10 necessarily, but what's your number 8?
My number 8 is a 10-minute short film, animated film. That's Felix Colgrave's Double King, which you can watch
Great.
on YouTube, which I just love this thing.
I loved this as well. I don't include short films on my list, but
Well, you should.
maybe I will next year. You know, I don't even log short films on Letterboxd. I think starting in 2018, I am going to at least log short films on Letterboxd.
Make that change. Make that change, buddy.
I mean,
They're films, just like anything else.
I get it. I know that they're films, but I'm saying, like, maybe what I'll do is have two separate
there you go.
lists.
You can do like a top 10 short films of the year.
Yeah.
You can do that. But I mean, just the, 10-minute, he does all the music, which I thought was fantastic. His animation style, I absolutely love it. The art style. The storyline of it is just ridiculous and dark, and also extremely creative, where you just have this kind of power hungry king that just is eliminating every king that there is. He just wants to collect those crowns, and he just can't stop. Nothing can stop.
He's obsessed. He's addicted.
He's
addicted.
Crowns. Crowns on top of crowns. Smaller crowns for bigger crowns. Just crowns for everything. And if you have one, he's going to kill you and take it.
Yeah, if you are interested, if you're a subscriber to Verve, the streaming platform, their channel Cartoon Hangover actually has a Felix Colgrave, um, like for lack of a better term, show,
Yeah.
and it's got a ton of his stuff. So, if you check out Double King and want to find more of his stuff, which is all pretty amazing, you can check it out on Cartoon Hangover on Verve. My number 8 is Raw.
Ooh.
Man, this one I can't remember when this when did this come out? This came out
Earlier in the years, wasn't it?
yeah, it just it hit me hard at the beginning of the year, and it never let up. I mean, this movie really got its teeth in me, no pun intended. It's a coming of age story about this young woman who discovers that she may be a cannibal. She goes to vet school and has meat for the first time and discovers she may be a cannibal.
She likes the meat.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out.
She sort of becomes obsessed with devouring human flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of takes off from there. Had a few of the most disturbing scenes that I've seen in a film this year, but more than that, I thought that it was just a really well crafted, sort of very disturbing coming of age story. So I definitely recommend it. Raw.
That was a good. I mean that where she kind of snacks on the finger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just the way that all plays out is just ridiculous. So what do we were at 7? Number 7.
Yep. What's your number 7?
My number 7 is a doc, and it's Raoul Peck's "I Am Not Your Negro."
Now, see, this is there's a little bit of a disparity here because this was actually on my list last year.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
So, if I considered this to be a 2017 movie, this would definitely be on my list. But I considered it a 2016. So,
well, I think me and you do have kind of different ideas of how to go about with the movie release date.
yeah, I have very strict rules. I should mention that I don't include any unreleased or festival films in my list, and I only include movies that had a U.S. theatrical or VOD release that year. So, I'm Not Your Negro is one of those where it had a short theatrical run in 2016 because it was, I think, up for several awards last year, but it didn't get like an actual release until 2017.
Yeah, came out on early February.
So it was eligible for awards for last year because it had a small run.
And I kind of go by like anything, obviously, because the last film I had on here was a YouTube video. So anything that comes out for like general audiences. So I'm thinking of the people like me that live in small town America that when they're available to you. So I'm going by the February 3rd release date of I Am Not Your Negro, which is absolutely fantastic documentary.
Yes.
The way in which he does this with his taking James Baldwin's unfinished work and kind of tied it into current day, but also going into the time at which the book was written or was being written, and examination of Baldwin's friendships with Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King, and just the way that it's all kind of tied together. The way they go about doing this was really impressive. So if you haven't
Yeah,
seen it, you gotta see it.
it's a must see. Absolutely, a must see. My number 7 is Lady Bird.
The old Lady Bird.
Yeah, the old Lady Bird. A little Greta Gerwig action here. Everybody's talking about this one. It's great. It's very funny, well scripted. Got some great performances in there by Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf. Everybody, even a lot of the sort of secondary characters are fantastic in this, like Timothy Chalamet, and pretty much everybody. I can't remember. This is terrible. I can't remember her best friend's name. The girl who plays
Beanie Feldstein.
Beanie Feldstein.
Yeah, she was great as
fantastic.
Julie. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Tracy Letts was great. Lucas Hedges was great. Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great film. I think that it deserves a lot of the accolades that it's getting. I had a fantastic time with it. It's funny. It's heartfelt. It's got everything you could want in a good piece of cinema. So Lady Bird is my number 7.
Okay. My number 6 is also a doc, and that is Maison du Bonheur from Sofia Bodanowicz, which I think I talked about this one quite recently too.
Yeah, yep.
This was available on the old Free Festival Scope website. So this is a relatively short doc, really interesting, just kind of like a slice of life where the director went to stay in Paris, staying with a family friend, and just decides to make a documentary while there, and just kind of goes into it with no real expectation or blueprint, and just kind of wings it as they're going on. And so what she ends up doing is chronicling this woman that she's staying with, and each day they would kind of just talk about a facet of her life, whether it be her beauty routine, whether it would be the routine of her watering her plants, or her old job as an astrologer, and her mentor, and her late husband, whatever it is. And it kind of like 30 of these little vignettes are just kind of put together. They kind of show you just who this person is. And it's a really light, but just really impressive documentary.
All right. What's the name of that one again?
Maison du Bonheur.
Maison du Bonheur. Okay. My number 6 is Dunkirk.
Ooh.
By Chris Nolan.
All right.
You know, it's funny. This one, it wasn't in my top 10. I was doing so much rearranging over the last few days. It wasn't originally in my top 10. And then I remembered how I felt when I watched this movie, and just how kind of in awe I was the entire time. And I was like, oh, this has to go in there. Like, I was so impressed with this movie. I was pretty blown away.
Was it one of those, because this always happens to me too, when I'm kind of like rearranging to try and say, you have one that just like keeps creeping up. You know,
Yeah.
It'll start at like 25, and then next thing you know, you have it at 22. And then the next time you're looking at it, you're like, okay, I'll bump that up to 20.
I got to say, this
17.
this year that happened a lot. There were, especially in the, like, the 10 through 20 section, like, those were getting mixed around so much. And if I wanted to, I could go in and mix them up even more. Because there were, like you said, a couple weeks ago, there were just a lot of really quality releases. Like, there were only a handful to me that were like almost perfect level movies. Yeah. Like, you know, like the top tier. There were only a handful of those. Like, my top 5 has been pretty much staying the same. But there were just so many other good movies, like quality movies that came out that you can just rearrange endlessly.
Yeah.
But Dunkirk is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure that all of you have seen it already, but it's just
would imagine.
Yeah, I mean it's probably one of the best war films that I've seen.
Number 5. I got one that I absolutely love this. And that's Silvio. Silvio's at my number 5.
I'm surprised. This is one this is number 25 on my list. I loved Silvio too, but it couldn't quite make it up. I'm surprised that it's that high up for you.
I love Silvio so much. It's kind of, I don't know how they pulled it off, really. You know, like when it came out that Kentucky Arley and Albert Burney were going to do a feature of Silvio, turn it into a feature film. Okay, that will be, it'll probably be all right. I was a fan of Silvio's The Vines. I was a fan of Herbert Herpel's Vines. I'm like, it'll be what it is. But watching it, the actual final product, and just kind of being blown away at how they were able to take these Vines and turn it into a feature film, and it to be that solid and that that enjoyable and just warm-hearted, funny, bizarre. And then even the character Sylvia, like he's gorilla, and why is a guy in a gorilla suit bringing me this much joy for like an hour and a half? Like that shouldn't be possible.
Yeah, it was great.
Somehow.
Very fun movie. But it wasn't stupid either. Like you hear the premise, you're like, oh, it's based on a Vine channel, and it's about a gorilla who wears shades, and you just think that it's gonna be stupid, but it's not at all. It's got this level of charm to it that just instantly gets you. It's a happy film. I feel like we need more happy movies.
Exactly. There wasn't a lot of those this year.
Well, stay tuned, Kevin. So that was Silvio, your number 5. My number 5 is Call Me by Your Name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one got me. I wasn't expecting, everybody was losing their shit over this movie, and I was expecting it to be this year's Carol for me, where it just, I'm not on board. And I wasn't on board at first. So when I was watching this, I was probably 30, 45 minutes in, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I mean, I liked it. I was like, yeah, this is good. The backdrop is absolutely beautiful. I mean, it takes place in northern Italy, and it's just the home that it takes place in is gorgeous. And the characters seemed well developed, and the performances were good, and I was like, yeah, this is a nice little love story. But then at one point, it just clicked. It all just clicked with me, and I was just like, okay, this is actually incredible. And as it progressed and where they went with it, it just got me more and more. And of course, like by the end of the movie, I was like in tears. And it's just an incredible love story. And it's the thing that I love the most about it is that it's not sentimental at all. Like with Carol, there was that kind of that sentimental quality to it that I just was not on board with. But in this movie, everything about it is so subtle. Like the relationship is just so subtle and natural that there wasn't like this hint of like false sentimentality.
Okay.
And that's what really got me about it. I mean, there's other things too. Like I did love the location, and the title cards are awesome, and that actually is a factor for me in movies. Like if it's got a great title card, and the opening and especially the ending title, that's what the ending title is, when I was like, okay, this movie is fucking fantastic. But amazing performances by Timothy Chalamet, Armie Hammer, Michael Stuhlbarg. Just, it's a fantastic movie, and I implore everyone to see this movie, because
Okay.
you will leave feeling something.
This is one that I also didn't get a chance to squeeze in, and I think it was mostly because I kind of have the same thought as maybe you did at the beginning, before seeing it, whereas like it seems like everyone's in love with it, and it seems like one that I'm like, I'll probably enjoy it, but I probably won't be in love with it like everyone else is. So that's kind of why I
Yeah,
didn't go out of my way to fit it in, but I'll definitely be getting around to it at some point.
yeah. I don't think it's going to necessarily work for you, but it really hit for me.
All right. My number 4 is Get Out. Jordan
All
Peele.
right.
Jordan Peele's Get Out. I just had a lot of fun with this one. I found it highly inventive. Um, Great performances all around, and for much of the runtime, I really wasn't sure where this was going, and I thought he had a perfect balance of comedy and this like uneasy horror aspect to it,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that he was able to play with those two, kind of back and forth, juggling them.
Yeah,
Uh,
he subverts a lot of horror tropes in it too, which I liked. And I rewatched this a few weeks ago, and you get more out of it when you rewatch it. That's the thing. Like, when after you know where it's heading, you pick up on so much more with this movie, and that's something I always appreciate.
yeah, which is this is one of those that I've really been looking forward to revisiting.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get more out of it with rewatch for sure. Uh my number 4 is Human Surge.
Oh man,
Yeah, again, just this movie blew me away. It really did. I loved every aspect of it. I mean, mostly the cinematography, but I also like movies that I like movies that feel hyper real, and I feel like you could almost classify this movie as a documentary.
it does seem that way, doesn't it? Where it's just
It
this kind of like Verte style, where you just you know at the outset you're just following this guy around. Is it Buenos Aires? And then the second
Yeah.
one is Mozambique.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like all three of those. I could have watched an entire movie of just that.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely see Human Search. I don't know if this is. I don't know what the availability of this currently is,
I do
but
know that it's available on Fandor if you have
okay,
Fandor, and I think it's out on DVD.
okay.
Pretty
Definitely
sure.
check it out. It's. I don't think it's going to be a movie for everyone, but I was really impressed with it. So, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Person to Person from Dustin Guy Dife.
This is one that was pretty high on my list, but kept getting pushed down. So it had sort of the opposite
And
effect.
and I
But
can kind of understand that because
it's
this is a movie it's relatively light. You know what I mean? It's kind of a
yeah.
breezy,
See,
just
it's
a couple of different storylines going on in New York, and it might not be as big subject matter as other films.
right. It's
You
one of
get-
those movies that the longer I had away from it, like the longer distance I had away from it, sort of the more I forgot about what an enjoyable experience it was. It's still number 23 on my list. So it stayed up there. It stayed in the top 25.
this is a movie for me that I didn't want it to end. Like I could watch this movie. Like if there was a 27-hour cut of this, I would watch it.
I'm starting to notice a pattern here in your movies. You're this year you're all about kind of the light, fun, happy movies.
I got some of them in there. I mean, I do have The Killing of a Sacred Deer and Double King.
Yeah, but I mean, even Double King was still colorful
True, true.
and sort of fun.
Yeah, I was looking to
I,
enjoy myself in 2017.
we needed it.
I think so.
We all needed it. My number three is Good Time.
Okay, there you go.
The I'm a big fan of the Safdie brothers, and Good Time was a pretty good time for me. So
Nice.
had a good time with this one.
Of course you did.
Again, movies that get into that neo-realism realm always do it for me. We've talked about it before. I have a very there's movies that I'm so transparent when it comes to certain movies that I like, that it's very easy
Oh yeah.
to see this movie and be like, yeah, that's definitely one that he'd be into.
No, I was like 2 minutes into Good Time, and I was just like, Adam loves this shit.
Yeah, and I did. Just the soundtrack, the color palette, everything about it, I loved. So, heaven knows what was on my top 10 in 2015. Whatever their next movie is, it's probably going to be on my top 10 for that
It just,
year.
I think it just like defaults gets slotted in at 10. It's like a placeholder until you see it. You're just like, I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
number 10 open.
Well, as long as they keep that level of quality up there, as long as they keep making movies for me, I'll keep praising them.
What do we're number two.
We're number
Number
two. What's
two.
your number two?
My number two is By the Time It Gets Dark, and this is from. I'm gonna attempt this right now. So this is directed by Anucha Suechakongpun.
Hmm.
It was all right.
Yeah, that sounded right.
It's a little shaky, but I'm happy with it. I'll go with it. Uh, this is something that is played on. I think it had like a limited release, probably like New York. It was also made available on Mubi.com for a month, which is something I just want to point out real quick that in 2017, Mubi really upped their game. Like they're starting to get into like distribution and doing like collaborations with festivals and stuff and playing short films and selections of films from festivals from that year. And man, they've been really knocking it out of the park.
Again, they're on Verve now, so if you have a Verve
Yeah,
account, you get Mubi with it.
I cannot. They're what they have playing. It's a nice mix of movies from the 40s and the 30s and the 50s. You got stuff from 2017 in there. You have stuff from the 60s and the 70s. Like there's always a nice mix of world cinema US stuff. Like there's
Yeah, I
always
mean that's where I saw Sono's anti-porno.
yeah.
So they have a really big range of stuff. How but it's all very heavily curated too. So it's not like they just throw out a ton of stuff. It's all curated.
There's always an eclectic mix in there. So if you don't have a movie, you should probably look into it. Now, this was one of the movies that they kind of picked up and put out themselves. So this is really interesting. Kind of look at attempting to make like this historical drama, but at the same time, it's not really fixated on getting like all the accounts of what happened. This is kind of about the activists in the 1970s. So it's not necessarily like fixated on trying to get those what happened in the 70s nailed down. It's more interested in like the people that were involved and like what happened to them after the impact of their activism. and everything, and is just more interested on, and what they went through and what they're going through now, and not so much the actual, what happened in the 70s.
Mm,
It's really interesting how it kind of like fluidly moves through time and everything.
okay, that sounds interesting. My number two is. I'm sorry. What was the name of that again?
By the time it gets dark.
All right, so check that out if you can. My number two is Get Out. We
Yeah, I
just
figured
talked
that.
about it.
I
It's
figured that would be on there.
absolutely. But
I was
if you
wondering,
haven't seen Get Out yet, Jesus, go see Get Out.
and now I'm kind of. I was pretty sure that was going to be your number one. I thought either
Oh no,
that or Good Time was going to be.
oh no. There's a huge one, Kevin. There's a huge one. What's your number one?
My number one is A Bride for Rip Van Winkle from Sunji Iwai.
Okay, I suspected.
You thought you had that
Yeah,
coming in?
because I remember you were like really praising this one. I
Yeah.
wanted to see it, but I didn't have the time because I was trying to cram in so much other stuff at the end
Yeah,
of the year,
and
and I know this one's a long one.
yeah, this one's got a runtime of 179 minutes, so it's completely understandable. If you're looking at things to squeeze in at the end of the year, you're probably not going to start with the 179-minute one. But this one, I found this one. It's quite a journey. It's quite a ride with that runtime. I never once thought that runtime was egregious, or unnecessary.
Which is rare for you, because
Yes,
normally
very
you hate
rare.
long run times.
But if you can justify it, good on you. And I think that this movie does. It goes into a lot of interesting areas where it starts out with this woman getting married, and she doesn't really have a family to show up for the wedding, and that looks bad in Japanese society. So she hires actors to stand in as family, so it looks like even sides. She comes from a good family, so does her husband. Everything's going to work out great. Well, these people keep getting hired by either someone from the internet or someone who knows, but they end up showing up in her life constantly in different roles. And then she ends up getting involved. And it's just where it goes with it is really, really interesting. So I highly recommend that one. Bride for Rip Van Winkle.
Number one, Kevin's number one movie of 2017.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. My number one is The Florida Project.
Okay. I forgot about that one.
Easy. This was an easy number one for me. As the moment that I saw this, it's Sean Baker's follow up to Tangerine, which is another movie that came out in 2015 that was on my top 10. This movie is just absolutely incredible. It goes back to what you were saying, like what we were just talking about with movies that just feel happy and they make you feel good. Like there is some sadness in this movie. There's definitely some drama, but at its core, it just has so much heart. It's about this little girl she's not in a great living situation, but she doesn't know any better. The movie is told from her perspective and what she does with her imagination and what she does in this world that she's in. And it's just it'll make you smile, and it's just such a heartwarming film that I can't recommend it highly enough. It's definitely one of I think it is the best movie of the year, but it's got great performances too. I mean, Willem Dafoe is probably the best role I've seen him in for quite a while. The little girl, Brooklyn Prince, is fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic. And Caleb Landry Jones is in there, and Bria Veneti is just incredible as well. So The Florida Project, this is not out yet on VOD and Blu-ray, but when it does come out, if you haven't seen the movie yet, absolute must see. It's incredible.
Well, there you have it.
So that's going to do it for the top 10s. What about some honorable mentions? I think with this, I'll just go through sort of my list of maybe the next 10 or so, and then we can discuss, and then you can do yours, and then we can sort of discuss a few movies that I would classify as my honorable mentions. Okja.
Okay.
This was like my number 11 spot, so I'll just go down like 11 through 20 or so. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Your Name. That's one that really was surprising to me. I'm not normally a huge anime person, but that one really got me. The Lure. What a weird, awesome movie that was. Go see The Lure. Holy shit. It's a Polish horror musical about 2 mermaids that eat people.
I know. If that doesn't
be enough.
If that doesn't
on
pique your
board.
interest.
But see, the thing is, I don't even like musicals, but the music in this was good enough that it kept me going. The problem I have with musicals is not like how they're structured or anything like that. It's usually that I'm not a fan of the music that's in them.
Yeah.
Like that's the big thing. And there were a couple of the songs that I really wasn't on board with, but for the most part, I enjoyed the music. Logan. This is probably the first time a superhero movie made its way up that high on a list for me, but I don't even know if you could call this a superhero movie. It has superheroes in it, but it is far from your typical superhero movie. And I would say that even if you're not, like, if you're the type of person that tries to avoid those types of movies, this one is well worth a look, because it is drastically different than any of those others. Thelma. This was a really interesting kind of it's a coming of age story, but it's like this sort of supernatural horror movie at the same time, where this girl who comes from this very religious family goes off to college, and she falls in love with one of her classmates, and she sort of also realizes that she might have supernatural powers. Really surprising. This made it to my top 10 horror movie list. Definitely worth a look. I, Tonya. This is sort of a recent watch for me. I just was able to squeeze this in, and man, I was impressed with I, Tonya.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot.
Aside from the performances, which I think were definitely the highlight, as far as like biopics go, this was done in a really fun and interesting way, and highly recommend I, Tonya. It's just, yeah, it's funny, it's sad, it's definitely worth a look. Brimstone and Glory. This is a documentary about the fireworks festival in Mexico that I talked about it a few weeks ago, and just I adore this documentary, mostly because the camera work is incredible and the score is done by Ben Zeitlin. And that was one of the things that made me love Beasts of the Southern Wild so much, was the score. I really love his music, and I thought that it just went hand in hand with the visuals of this film. The Meyerowitz stories. This is one that I didn't expect to really love as much as I did, but it's fantastic. It's on Netflix. Brawl in Cell Block 99. This is the new this is the S. Craig Zoller one, his follow up to Bone Tomahawk. Loved it. This is a sort of a throwback to '70s prison movies, and it's another one that's sort of like Bone Tomahawk, where it's surprising just how good everything is in it. Like the dialogue is smart and snappy, and the violence is on a whole other level. It's unbelievably violent and brutal. But Vince Vaughn is awesome in it. It's one of the. It's been a while since he's done a dramatic role, and he's awesome in this. If you haven't seen Brawl in Cell Block 99, definitely check that out. And then Hounds of Love. It's a solid Australian horror movie that's just absolutely brutal and difficult to watch, but it was really kind of beautifully shot. Colossal. Give a honorable mention to Colossal. The new Nacho Vigalondo. Yeah, this was pretty. It started higher up on my list and started kind of getting pushed down, but it's still well worth a look. I mentioned Person to Person and Silvio, and it is definitely one of my favorite horror movies of the year. I think it's number 2 underneath Get Out. So all of those movies I think are worth looking at. What about you? What are some honorable mentions for Kevin Rakestraw?
Honorable mentions would be On the Beach at Night Alone. I think Hong Sang-soo came out with 3 movies this year. So this is one of 3. And this is one going into, I really didn't know like the backstory of it. So it features a great performance from Kim Mi-hee, who she plays this actress that's kind of struggling to come back after the aftermath of this like affair that she had with this big time movie director. And the first half of the film is like her in Berlin, like waiting for he may or may not come, and he's married, and all the things. And then she comes back and she's kind of hanging out with old friends, and she's trying to get back into the swing of things. She might start acting again, and she ends up running into this director, and they kind of have this confrontation. And so as I'm watching it, what I didn't know is that's what happened in real life. The director of the movie, Hang Sang-soo, he had an affair with her and it broke up marriage and everything. So this is them kind of documenting it in some way. But the interesting thing is, it seems like he gives her the floor. Like this is all about her. There's not much, you don't really see justification from the director and why he did it, and all those kind of things that you typically see in these types of narratives. And another interesting thing is they make the director in the movie like really pathetic. Like he's just absolutely pathetic. But it's definitely worth a look. I'm usually not into Hong Sang-soo, but this is the first movie that I actually thoroughly enjoyed from him. Another one that I just watched recently. This is extremely experimental. It is Scott Barley's Sleep Has Her House. So this is about 90 minutes of, there's no dialogue, there's no actors or anything. It's just all landscape shots. And it's just these slightly manipulated landscape shots. Like the first, I can't remember, but I want to say like 6-7 minutes, right? It's just this super close up of a waterfall cascading, right? And you can tell it's a waterfall, you can hear it and everything, and you just kind of put in your mind that it's a waterfall. And it's really bizarre because you can't focus in, or at least I couldn't focus in on the image before. You kind of like following the water, and you can't really find a center to look at the image that's on screen. And what it does over the 7 minutes is it just kind of like slowly backs out and you don't really even realize it. You're just like, okay, he's backing out, but he does it in such small increments that you don't necessarily realize what he's doing until you're kind of like in it. And you're just kind of like, oh shit, wait, what happened? because it ends up backing out so far that you're just like, where the fuck is he filming from? How like he's so ridiculously far away, and just like he kind of plays with the light and the superimposes images on top of others, and it's absolutely breathtaking. Another one that I kind of talked about at the mid year would be Christopher Good's Brad Cuts Loose, which is a ridiculous short film that I found to be highly enjoyable and extremely funny.
Yeah, I love
And
this one too.
just I love his creativity, just like a high energy that you don't really see too much of anymore.
I think the best is how they represented him eating breakfast and like just
Between that and
man.
when Tipper Newton is going through like all of the possible packages that he could buy with the sludges, the different types of sludges, and it kind of just like a rapid fire like visual catalog of everything that can come out of someone's mouth, which is just, and the fact that they go and check out like the coworkers BMW, and just the fact of those guys, like five guys going out to check out a car, has like 37 cuts in it.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous,
I loved it.
but it's so much fun. Um, Another one would be Ian Clark's A Morning Light, which played on No Budge earlier this year, which is a kind of extremely micro budget, kind of like sci-fi thriller mystery type, but it doesn't necessarily have a lot of those elements to it. But it does deal with some supernatural elements. But it's just really, really vague. And I thought that was really fantastic. The slow burn, big time slow burn there. Um, Another one would be, this also played on Mubi. This is, I think, one that they put out too, which is called The Park. So this is two teenagers that kind of go on this first date in a park, and they're just kind of walking around, and it's just really low key at first, right? It's just them holding hands, walking around, talking to each other and everything, getting to know each other. And then the guy leaves. She kind of falls asleep on the hill. She gets up, and from that point on, it's extremely experimental, where she's like walking through this dream world, and she's got to navigate the dream world in a canoe. Like, it just, you think that you're watching something really light, really simple, and then it just completely flips and it becomes something entirely different and just completely changes on you. Uh, this was also on Mubi, which is La Bouche from Camilla Restrepo. So this is a 19-minute short experimental. It's essentially a musical that features fantastic percussion. It's all like African singing with drumming going on, and just the way in which it's shot, where it's just the musicians just facing the camera, and they sing their song, which is about a guy learns that his daughter has been murdered by her husband, and he's trying to figure out if he should kind of move on, just deal with it, or if he should get revenge. Probably the best music I've heard all year. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. Another doc would be Events in a Cloud Chamber. So this is a documentary at once about an Indian artist and his work and how he does his work and kind of like his career and everything and where he's at now. And it's also about he made one of the only experimental films to come out of India back in the 60s. But it got lost. So they don't have it anymore. So the purpose of this documentary is like talking to him about like what the film was, how it was received, how he made it, everything that happened afterwards. And so they kind of the documentary maker works with him to try and like recreate the lost film. So they end up like remaking it by his memory. And then that's actually like a part of the documentary where they show you the final film that they ended up creating, from memory, kind of like reconstruct it, which I thought was really interesting. And then I would have big ones on there, like Dunkirk and Hardy's The Salesman, stuff along those lines. Colossal, Good Time.
All right, so have there been any movies that you missed that you feel like could have top 10 potential? I feel like I should always kind of say like I missed Phantom Thread. I didn't have time to squeeze that one in.
I would count that.
I didn't see Faces Places. A lot of people really kind of losing it over that documentary. I missed that one.
I would agree with that one. I missed Florida Project. Obviously, your number one.
Yeah, it's also Blake's number one too. But by the time you hear this, all of our top list should be posted on the site. That's his number one as well. Columbus, I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to try to squeeze that in, just didn't have quite enough time. I didn't see Personal Shopper. I know you did. I don't know if that would have top 10 potential for me, but I know a lot of people were talking about that one.
Yeah, that was all right.
I can't think of any other ones that might have made it. I saw pretty much everything that I wanted to this year. I did better this year than
good.
Yeah, I did better this year than a lot of other years as far as like missing big releases. I missed Tragedy Girls, which was a horror movie that a lot of people were talking about. I thought for sure that would hit VOD. I didn't go see it in the theater, and I just thought for sure it would hit VOD by now, but it hasn't. So, I missed that one, and I'm a little bummed about that because I have a feeling just from what I read, it probably would have landed on my top 10 horror list.
Yeah,
but
I was kind of surprised that a decent number of people enjoying that one.
What about let's talk about some of the worst things that we've seen this year. You can't have the best without the worst. You know what I mean? You gotta have some of the stinkers.
Okay.
For me,
I got those.
You got those? What is your worst? The worst movie you've seen this year? What is that?
The worst would be Olga Hypnorova.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Knight, I think. Those two were the worst for me.
Dark Knight's definitely down there towards the bottom for me. Baywatch is very low. That's one of the worst things I've seen this year.
Imagine.
Absolutely atrocious. This movie called Hacker that I actually watched on a plane. Unbelievable. Like when I watched this movie, I'm like, how does this exist? What? It was such a piece of shit. And it was like one of these things where like I'm on the plane, I'm looking at the movie selection on the plane, and I've seen everything that they have. That was like really the only one I hadn't seen, so I was like, all right, whatever. I'll give it a look. And man, it was just such a piece of shit. And Sandy Wexler, the Adam Sandler one that was on Netflix, that one was just so awful. And it was so long too. It was 2 hours and 10 minutes long. Just never ended.
I also hated The Bad Batch.
I didn't like The Bad Batch, but yeah, that was. I
Straight
didn't
up hated
hate
that
it.
movie. Ghost Story. Oh, fucking Christ.
Yeah, again, I
Ghost
liked
Story.
Ghost Story. I didn't hate it.
Mother.
Definitely,
I hated.
I did not like Mother.
Brad's status has become my arch nemesis.
I like Brad's status.
I hate Brad's status so much.
We Are the Flesh.
Yeah,
I
God, that was. Mm, I
That one
forgot
was.
about that movie because that was like one of the first movies we watched this year. So that is definitely um, benefited from a lot of time. Like the anger
Mm-hmm.
is so old.
Sure. Yeah. Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. Obviously,
Oh,
garbage. I saw this action horror movie called Don't Kill It, starring Dolph Lundgren. It's a piece of shit. Cut, Shoot, Kill, which was a found footage horror movie that was a giant piece of shit. Awakening the Zodiac, which was about the Zodiac killer coming back,
okay.
which in and of itself doesn't even make any sense because he'd be like 85 years old or something. That was terrible. A movie called Drifter, which was another horror movie that I literally can't remember anything about. Oh, you know what? I do remember. It was sort of like this like kind of Mad Max type garbage. That one just bad. Bright. I
Oh
did
yeah.
see Bright, and I will mirror most people's hatred on Bright. It was. I would love you to see Bright, just
I
to
don't know if
hear
I,
your reaction.
I don't know if I could handle it, to be honest.
Well, the thing is, it's not. It's not like it's just boring. Like it's bad and boring, but it's pretty. That one's pretty rough to get through. Dark Knight is on my list as well. It's like towards the bottom. The Leatherface movie, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, How to Be a Latin Lover. A lot of people sort of into that one, but I really hated it.
I forgot about that movie.
I think that came out early in the year.
I think you're right.
And that's pretty much it. There wasn't a lot of crap, but there was just a lot of kind of not great things.
Yeah.
Just a lot of Netflix. I know I'm noticing here, I'm looking at my list, and a lot of Netflix movies are very close to the bottom. War Machine, Death Note, Little Evil, War on Everyone, The Most Hated Woman in America,
Small,
Voyeur.
small
Like
crimes.
these are all Netflix movies that that are almost at the bottom of my list.
Yeah, Voyeur. I didn't like that one either.
Oh, you saw that?
That was straight up. It's so fucking dumb. It's just a commercial. It's just like, hey, check out the book. But the thing that really pissed me off, because number one, what's his name? Oh, what the fuck is his name? The journalist. If you want to call
Gay,
him, you want to call him a
Gay
journalist,
Talese.
because he's not a journalist. He's just a piece of shit.
I know, like
Such a,
he's so pompous, like he's so full of himself. Like as a journalist, blah blah blah. As a award winning journalist, blah blah
which
blah.
is such horseshit. Because then at the end, it's like he gets taken down because he didn't look into it. You were working on this for like 20 some years, and you didn't check like one
Yeah,
simple fact.
and I can't remember what who broke the.
It was something for the Washington Post, I think.
Yeah, and they're the ones that like in 2 seconds they figured it out.
Yeah, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? And then on top of that, he like completely disowns the book. He's like, oh, I'm fucking ruined. Da, 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 da. And then, like a week or so later, they show him how when he goes on to Seth Meyers, and he's like, yeah, well, I called the person that owned it, and he still had keys. And it's like, you, why didn't you do that like immediately? Like, how terrible are you at this? Like,
Yeah,
why
like
did you wait several weeks to like follow up with this guy to find out if he still had access to the hotel. Like, you got to be kidding me.
And I also felt like the filmmakers didn't push hard enough when it came to some of their line of questioning.
No, they didn't really do anything. Except that I did like in the beginning how they kind of make like the parallels between the two, how they're both essentially the same, and that Gay Talese might actually be worse
Yeah. Yeah.
in its own way.
So that's 2017. Any other movies that you want to mention? Anything of note?
I don't think so. I would throw out there uh, the movie thing. If 2018 is anything like 2017, or if they follow on this path and you know getting better, I saw a lot of good things on there. Compared to direct you see on fucking Netflix.
I, I think with Netflix, it's soon just going to be all original stuff.
Yeah, and it's all mediocre as all hell. I mean,
Like,
occasionally you get some good stuff in there, but
yeah, I mean, Wormwood is one that I wanted to finish for possible entry in this. That's the Errol
Yeah.
Morris series. I saw the first part, but I didn't finish it, so I couldn't really put it on there.
then there's even when you get some decent stuff on there like Mudbound, they don't do like their marketing of it is so fucking terrible. Like when Mudbound came out, I don't even know if it was on the front page. I think I had to like search for it.
Yeah. What did I want to watch recently that I had to search for? There was something that I knew came out on Netflix, and I opened it up to watch it, and it was nowhere to be found. I actually had to do a search for it.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we've complained about it before on here. The way that they organize their stuff, I think that they're all about their algorithm where they show you things that they think you want to see, but like I don't want that. Like I watch such a large variety of things on there that I don't want you to show me what I want to see because I already know what I want to see. Like just show me the new stuff just give me a list of the new releases. And they're not good about telling us when things are coming out either. Like I'll get an email like maybe a week, if not less than a week before something comes out that announces that they're releasing something.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even send me an email at all about what's coming out. And I'll have to like find it. I'll just have to see that it's on there.
Honestly, the majority of times that I find out something is on Netflix is from a random person on Twitter.
Yeah, they got to step up their PR game.
They're
Recently, I've been getting more emails about stuff, but I don't know. They just got to step that up a little bit. All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Again, all of our various lists will be up on the site by the time you hear this. We already have a bunch of stuff published as of this recording, but everything should be up. Everybody's top 10s, some people are publishing bottom 10s, top horror movies. Blake and I did horror movies. So be sure to check out the site and update your watch lists accordingly.
Right.
I think probably next week we'll be looking ahead to 2018 and giving some of our most anticipated for 2018. So stay tuned for that. Let's take a look and see what's coming out in theaters. Okay, in theaters this week we have Insidious: The Last Key.
So,
Yeah, I mean they keep cranking out these Insidious movies. I think this is the fourth one?
I think so.
Man. I did not see any. I didn't see the last one, so maybe I'll give it a look. I'm probably not going to see this one either, actually. We have In Between. We got The Strange Ones. It's got a great cover for The Strange Ones.
I mean, man, I've been hearing about this movie for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for it. It looks pretty decent. Slightly interested in it. Got Blame. Movie called Django.
All right.
Stratton. Currently has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Stratton.
Good work.
It's an action film starring Dominic Cooper.
Yeah, I think that'll stay at 0.
Well, there's going to be one person that gives it a fresh just so they can get their name out there. You know that's going to happen.
That's true.
Devil's Gate. Sheik Jackson. It's a documentary. Okay. Day of the Dead Bloodline. We're really in January, aren't we?
Sure are.
Anatomy of a Male Ballet Dancer. Oh, man. Madtown.
Yep, there you go. Just a lot of boring titles.
Yeah. Project Eden, Volume 1.
Dan, there's going to be that. I wonder how many volumes.
That sounds like a faith-based movie to me.
I wouldn't be surprised.
In the Land of Pomegranates.
All right.
And that's pretty much it. So not a lot to speak of this week in theaters. VOD this week we got Future 38. This comes out January 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Future 38's decent. I saw this. This was at maybe Dances with Films or no. This was I think the Brooklyn Film Festival. The whole premise of Future 38 is that it's a sci-fi time travel movie that was shot in the 30s, but in it the character travels to 2016.
Okay.
So it's like this kind of play on what the past thinks about how the future will be. It's okay. It's kind of a cool idea, but I felt like they didn't quite stick the landing.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those where the idea sounds far more interesting than what the end product is. Yeah, like they try to make it look old, but it doesn't really look that old. Gotcha.
It sort of looks like a contemporary film, which really kind of broke the immersion or the trick or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I don't know. The gimmick.
The gimmick. Yeah, it's okay. We have a review for that up on the site. Cannibal Farm. This is on the second too, as well as The Risen. We have a review for that up right now. Chris gave that a 2 out of 10. He pretty much hated it. Psychopaths. This is not the... Oh, it is the... So this is the Mickey Keating one that I did not like very much at all. Then on the 5th, we have Stratton, Day of the Dead Bloodline. Man, not a lot going on VOD. I'd say just skip next week. Yeah. Just take a break from movies this week.
Yeah.
Blu-ray, this week we have Hell Night from 1981. We have American Made. That's the Tom Cruise one that I heard was pretty bad. 7 Bloodstained Orchids from 1972. Battle of the Sexes.
I forgot all about that movie.
Yeah, I got a screener for that, but I never watched it, so... what can you do? Cadillac Man from 1990.
Hell yeah.
The Robin Williams classic. They used to be on Comedy Central a lot.
Every day, just about.
Snow Dogs from 2002, another classic. Just because I will never forget watching Leonard Maltin give Snow Dogs his hot pick and Black Hawk Down his not pick.
Mm.
The Executioner's Song from 1982, starring Tommy Lee Jones. We got Brad Status, your most hated movie ever.
Oh God.
Got Teen Wolf double feature with
Nice.
Teen Wolf and Teen Wolf 2. Miss Zombie from 2013. That's the Sabu film.
Okay, cool.
Breathe. That's the Andy Serkis one.
Okay.
Andrew Garfield. The House is October Built 2. The Ong Bak trilogy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Shockwave. The Stolen. That's pretty much it as far as Blu-ray. What do we have on the Criterion front this week?
We have one Criterion coming out January 2nd. We got The Big Daddy, The Breakfast Club
Yeah.
coming out on Blu-ray.
By the time you hear this, there should be a review for this up on the site.
Which, with it being a fairly temporary film, they got, looks like there's a decent number of special features on there.
Yeah, I haven't gone through all of them yet, but so far, solid release.
Even new interviews. Nice.
Yeah. Love The Breakfast Club.
Is there anyone that doesn't?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking about over the holiday break. I totally forgot that this movie was coming out. But I was just talking about John Hughes and what a filmography. Like, holy crap. Because, John Hughes came from National Lampoon, and that's where the vacation movies, like that's where they're adapted from stories that he wrote for the National Lampoon about his time growing up. And just looking at his filmography, it's such an amazing filmography. He's got like some of my favorite movies, like Uncle Buck, Great Outdoors, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Pretty in Pink, Weird Science, Breakfast Club. It's what a filmography. We lost him too soon.
Classics.
Yeah. All right, I think that is going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. If you have any questions or topics, you can send them to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet or @FilmPulseKevin. If you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.
When you call on